Good morning, everyone. I am on my way to the craft store to get supplies needed for 4 craft projects I have coming up. Somehow I seem to always get myself into these things, but figured it would be a good time to have a little chat about the new year and a resolution I've made. So last week I had set out that I was going to read the Bible through in 1 year, which I have done a few times before, and that is about 3 chapters a day. So that was my plan, but then on Sunday, January 1st, I felt like God was saying just to read 1 chapter a day until I was through with the entire Bible, which I did look up. I believe there's 1,196 chapters in the whole Bible, so that will roughly take about 3 years to get through. But it is kind of intriguing. I've never read just 1 chapter of the Bible a day, because I think I am like a lot of people in that, we go quantity over quality. So I'm reading 3 chapters a day. I'm getting it done in 30 minutes. I can check that box. I might remember what I read later. I might not. Which actually isn't a good thing. But that's what I've done in the past. So this year I felt like God saying, read 1 chapter a day. Spend about 30 minutes on that 1 chapter. Now, I'm sure you're already asking yourself, how can you spend 30 minutes on 1 chapter of the Bible, which most people could read in like 5 minutes? So that was kind of what I had asked myself too. And so, actually, it's been really good. And what I've been doing is I will read through the chapter initially, and then I read through it a second time and kind of go verse by verse, asking questions about each verse. What is this verse about? Each of the different characters represented, what's going on? Is there any truth that stands out to me through each verse? And I'm taking like a full notebook page of notes for every single chapter of the Bible, which I do realize at the end of this 3-year time I will have 600 pages of notebook paper, which is actually pretty awesome. And then also I kind of decided I would look for a name of God in every single chapter of the Bible. So after I'm done at the end of 3 years, again, I'll have 1,200 names of God found in the Bible, which, at this time, just planning on, that's just for my own personal knowledge, not planning on writing a book or anything about it, but who knows. But it actually has been very, very good. And there's things like right now, of course, today I read Genesis 9, and there's things in each chapter that, when you read through it really quickly, then you miss stuff. Or maybe there is an important truth in that chapter, but because you're trying to get your 3 chapters a day done, you just breeze through it instead of really gaining that knowledge and gaining that truth. And so one thing that has stood out, I think this is going to make this kind of a longer video, is generational sin. Genesis chapter 3, sin enters into the world through yes, it was Eve first, but ultimately Adam, through his choice. From there, sin is passed on to every single person for the rest of this world as we know it. His first son Cain kills his second son Abel, and then Cain has to move away so that he doesn't end up dead. destroy all of mankind except for one man and his family, which was Noah. And so then for the next 3 chapters, we're told of all of these amazing things, that Noah is given the plan for this football field sized boat that's going to save every single kind of animal, insect, bird, beast, and mankind. He's just really given a lot of divine wisdom, and just miraculous things happen. And then, so of course, we know the story. They are saved after spending about a year inside the ark with all the animals. And he gets off the ark. He makes an altar. He worships God. He sacrifices to God. Life seems great. Earth gets a restart. Mankind gets a restart. And then what happens? Noah decides he wants to plant a vineyard, which I'm not even going to get into today, whether drinking alcoholic beverages is, okay or not for a Christian, or, the wine in the Bible being more like juice, whatever. I'm not even going there. But Noah takes it to the next level, and he just, he says today in Genesis 9, he plants a vineyard, and then he, starts getting drunk off of the wine that he's been making. And so that was Noah's sin, which, it is kind of, you wonder, like, how after he's gone through this amazing experience with God, and then he plants some grapes, and then he becomes an alcoholic, maybe. But we can't judge, because we're like that too, of like having God do miraculous things in our lives, and then just something stupid tripping us up. But, Noah has passed out drunk on his bed. For whatever reason, he is naked in bed, passed out. His son Ham comes in, sees him naked. Instead of covering up his father, he kind of laughs at him, mocks him, goes and gets his other brothers, Shem and Japheth. Like, hey, come look at our father. He's like drunk and naked. And Shem and Japheth kind of took the upper road, and they cover up Noah, which was good. Okay, so we see Noah sinned in, drinking wine to the point of getting drunk, passing out, being naked. That was Noah's sin. And then Ham sins by mocking Noah, by laughing at his behavior, wanting to point it out to the others. So there carries on to the next generation, and then Noah curses Ham's family line. So Ham had a son named Canaan, and Noah says, from that generation on, that the family line of Canaan would be servants to all the other family lines. Servants of servants. So generational sin, it really is a thing. It passes on. As parents, we really need to be so acutely aware of the things that we're passing on to our children. Whether they're learned behaviors from when we were raised as children, or new things we're doing. We are forming a link from each generation to each generation. And the links can be made of bad things, of habits, of addictions, of sin, or it can be made of good things, of loving God, worshiping God, serving others, to glorify God. So I guess the point of this is, examine yourself, and I do this as well. You know, my children are all adults now. I can't go back and undo the links in the chain that I formed. But I can do better now, and I can do better for my grandchildren. I can pray for my own children to recognize the links in the chain that they're forming. You know, it reminds me of A Christmas Carol and Scrooge. When Marley confronts Scrooge and says, you know, this is the chain that I formed during my time on Earth. Yours was the same length 7 years ago. You know, each day is a link in that chain. So just be prayerful, be circumspect about what links you're forming, what links you may need to try to undo, things that maybe you were raised and taught by in your family that you don't want to carry on to the next generation. So I'm about to the craft store. It's been a little bit longer than I anticipated, but thank you for watching, and I pray you have a good rest of your day.